Add the best phone service to the fastest broadband in Grenada, and you get Flow, Surf, and Chat. With 10 megabytes per second, you can surf the web, download a lot faster, and keep up with your friends on Facebook. Plus, get a landline with no strings attached. Get the lowest calling rates and 500 free minutes to call local and Caribbean landline for just $95 a month. Don't be fooled by those fast-talking ads. Get Flow, Surf and Chat, and turn up your home entertainment. Nobody beats Flow for your home. Sign up and save today.
Flow.
This is CC6 Newsnight Weekend Review for October 6 to the 9th, 2014. It was a week in which nutmeg farmers were told of price cuts for their products. The Ministry of Health outlined new measures as the country gets ready just in case the Ebola virus reaches its shores. And public workers from 1983 who were denied pensions are now entitled to be paid. In sports, Wagati launches 6th football tournament with 27 teams ready to do battle. Details and more when we return.
I have one voice.
I have one voice.
In the Caribbean.
In the Caribbean.
I can make free calls.
I can make free calls.
Between Trinidad.
Between Trinidad.
Grenada.
Grenada.
Barbados.
Barbados.
And Jamaica.
And Jamaica.
Only with my one voice service from Flow. So, one voice
speaks to many.
Grenada, you are being watched by the hardest hitting commentary team ever assembled, and they tell you as they see it every Monday at 8 p.m. on Community Channel 6. Watchdog.
Biting commentary.
A biting commentary. Repeat broadcast Saturdays at 8 p.m.
Biting commentary.
Large windows, large doors, small windows, small doors. At St. Lou Metal, the size doesn't matter. You order the size you want and we make it to your specifications. If you need our new heavy-duty casement windows or half-inch impact or laminated glass or any other doors and windows, no problem. What size? Any size. You get it at St. Lou Metal. And coming soon, PVC windows and hurricane shutters. St. Lou Metal, 19 Frequente Industrial Park, powered by Grenadian Innovation.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Hannah Marshall. Some changes are coming for nutmeg farmers as the new executive of the GCNA prepares to provide more information to better care for crops and warn about the use of chemicals that could reduce the viability of the product on the international market.
Nutmeg farmers are being cautioned about the pesticides and weedicides that are being used in their fields. New chairman of the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association, Leo Cato, says this is important to ensure that Grenada continues to export the island's premier product. During a press briefing on Wednesday, Mr. Cato says in recent times, the European Union has implemented stricter measures for products that are used as flavoring in food preparation.
There's a farmer out of somewhere in Latviga, I believe, who puts no weedicide in his lands, right? Because he said to me he has the fear that if he uses Gramaxone or any one of the weedicides, when the nutmeg falls from a tree, it can get contaminated. So what he does, he uses the weed eater to get the weeds off his land because he's fearful of his nutmeg and maize being contaminated. So there are farmers who are aware of the issue and they are doing their own little bit. Yeah. But remember, it only takes one farmer to make a mistake and to spoil the whole container, because when they test, if they get the batch of maize or nutmeg that came from the wrong farmer's hand, that's it for the entire container of nutmeg.
Cato says the GCNA has a laboratory and the Cocoa Association will also be using the facility.
We're just putting together the standards, right? So we have not defined the frequency of our own internal testing. What I wish to say also is that we are now collaborating with the Cocoa Association to start using our lab. We have a lab on this compound, right, in which we can do a number of testing and what have you. I believe it wasn't used by the GCNA before because of the cost of running it. But now Cocoa is coming on board to share the operation of running the lab. And we hope to be able to get some of this tests done. But in the meantime, the Bureau of Standards, we have used them, and we intend to use them to check and see what is in our products.
Cato says they will be producing a number of electronic media pieces to further educate the farmers about the care of their products.
We intend also to use the various forms of media. For example, we intend to produce a jingle that will be played on radio and TV. The jingle that would speak to all the do's and the don'ts of nutmeg production and processing, so that we are now in a very electronic and digital age, so that the farmer who listens to his radio or looks at the TV on a regular basis is constantly reminded of what he or she is expected to do to maintain the HACCP standards.
While this caution is going out to farmers, they are now receiving $1 less in the price per pound for green nutmegs, along with a $5 drop in the price paid for number 1 maize. The new chairman says the decision taken by the board of directors came into effect from October 1st. The price of nutmegs in the world market is now at US $12,000 a ton, a huge decrease from the price a year ago of US $25,000 a ton. The price of number 2 maize moves to $3, and for number 1, it will be $1. Grinders remain at $1 per pound. Janelle Ruben, CC6 Newsnight.
The Ministry of Health has stepped up its preparedness to deal with the Ebola virus and says it is closely watching the developments in Africa, Spain, and the United States. Minister Clarice Modest-Cohen revealed some of their plans in the weekly Tuesday Morning Post cabinet briefing.
Grenada has a number of protective gear suits in its possession as the Ministry of Health increases its preparedness to deal with the Ebola virus if it hits our shores. Minister of Health Dr. Clarice Modest-Cohen says Ebola is a killer and the island must take precautionary steps to prevent any incidents in the island. The Ebola virus has killed more than 3,000 people in West Africa and has spread to the United States, where 1 person has been hospitalized with the virus. Minister Modest-Cohen describes the gear that the ministry has.
We have some suits. They give a significant measure of protection. We have aprons, we have boots, we have goggles, we have the gloves, all of these things. But they're not the stage 4, and I want to be honest with the nation. The stage 4 suits is what is, if you have Ebola and present and you have to start to treat, then you need that. But for just general handling of a patient, or if a patient has fever or so, these are very adequate, and we've checked it with the experts. We have also a more upgraded suit that was purchased for us through our collaboration with St. George's University. We're holding that in reserve just in case.
The health minister says they have also checked on the sources for the level 4 suits should the need arise, and are in discussions with top U.S. health officials. The United States has said it is working with the World Health Organization to stockpile some of the basic things needed to deal with the Ebola virus. The minister says the cost of 1 suit is US $2,500.
We do not want to go overboard, but we want to ensure that we have quick access as soon as possible. So what is available to us will work, but in terms of continuous care, if we have to do that, we know where we can tap in to get it flown in the shortest possible time.
The health minister says the ministry has also established a quarantine station at the airport as well as an isolation unit at the General Hospital. She also noted that through the U.S. Embassy, training will also be provided for healthcare providers.
They're going to be trained how to put on the suits, because in some instances it's because people are a little careless. That's why, when I say careless, not in a loose way, but maybe they didn't follow the exact process as to how to take it off. So there's a way to put on the suit to protect yourself. There's a way to take it off, and therefore they're going to be trained in that. We're also working with the CDC, and our U.S. Charge has offered his assistance to have some training through, how do you call it, teleconferencing, so that you can actually see somebody doing certain things. And so we'll be getting different categories of workers to see what to do, maybe what not to do, and how to do it so that they can protect themselves.
The health minister says the ministry has also widened its task force to include experts from regional and international organizations. Janelle Ruben, CC6 Newsnight.
A group of people which have come together under one name are demanding the resignation of a senior government minister, whom they say has not exhibited the right level of competence needed to deal with critical national issues.
A peaceful march was staged on Wednesday from the National Stadium to the Ministerial Complex to protest against the current healthcare system in Grenada and to deliver a letter to the Minister of Health, Honorable Clarice Modest-Cohen. The march, which was led by political activist and talk show host Kem Jones, had as its objective to ask for the resignation of the minister, and this was outlined in the letter. The letter was delivered to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health on behalf of the group, which called itself Concerned Citizens of Grenada. Mr. Jones says the health minister has been displaying a high level of incompetence dealing with serious health issues such as chikungunya and the threat of Ebola.
We have three objectives. One, demanding that the Minister of Health resigns, and the reason why is because we believe she has demonstrated a high level of incompetence in the last couple of months.
Jones was asked what the resignation of the minister would achieve and who would replace her.
There are competent people here in Grenada. You know, definitely there are people who are competent in Grenada. I do not want to call any name, make any recommendation. I believe that there is a need to screen some. You have medical doctors who are really competent. They have been demonstrating that, you know, they really care about people. They can handle the job in a time of crisis. So I think that's something that can be explored.
He says the concerned citizens of Grenada are demanding the health care that was promised during the election campaign in 2013, and this would aid in possibly preventing threatening viruses like Ebola.
We are demanding better health care now, because during the campaign of 2013, we have heard it. They have made grandiose promises that yes, they will deliver better health care to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. We are demanding that now. And thirdly, we are saying there must be proactive measures put in place so as to prevent the people here in Grenada from being infected by Ebola. We are not saying that Ebola is in Grenada, but it's in our backyards. We have to do something now. And I have been advocating time and time again.
Amandel Sampson, CC6 Newsnight.
When we return, sexual crimes almost half the list for the October assizes.
What kind of party is this?
Them not bring no music.
Seriously?
Every girl said wine on the ground now.
Having digital data is like having the fastest man in the world save you from party disaster. Start using digital data today. Dial *136 number sign from your BlackBerry or *135 number sign from other handsets to activate Digicel.
How can Flow serve you better? Just have your Flow account number handy and complete our quick online survey. In appreciation, we'll give you a free video theme pack for 2 months, and you can win free service for the rest of the year. Just log on to discoverflow.co to participate. Survey ends November 6th.
Flow.
Where's Anthony?
Local distributor, independence agencies.
Breeze removes stains in the first wash. The other detergents, not always. You have to wash it all again and use twice the amount. So Which one costs more? Do the math. Choose Breeze. Unbeatable stain removal.
Welcome back. The government is now obligated to pay hundreds of former public servants who were denied pensions on the 1983 amendment to the Pensions Act, as the court has ruled that this change was unconstitutional.
Trade unions have won a victory over the government that will result in pension payments to hundreds of former public workers. An amendment to the Pension Act in 1983 resulted in people who joined the public service after April 4, 1983, being denied a pension from their employer, the government of Grenada. They will only be paid a pension from the National Insurance Scheme, and trade unions have for decades objected that this is unconstitutional. As a result, the Public Workers Union, Grenada Technical and Allied Workers Union, and Grenada Union of Teachers, along with gazetted police officers and prison officers, joined forces to challenge the amendment in court. The unions obtained legal representation from attorneys at law Francis Alexis QC, Carol Bristol QC, now deceased, and James Bristol, with the assistance of Hermelin Armstrong Cox, a former public servant. On Monday, President of the PWU, Adrian Francis, along with Dr. Francis Alexis and Mrs. Armstrong Cox, journeyed to the Accountant General's office to present documents for payment of a pension. Dr. Alexis says the Constitution of Grenada lays down clearly what pension rights are for public officers.
Made a simple submission to the court. Court, this pension disqualification law is inconsistent with the pension provisions in the Constitution because the law seeks to subject Hermelin Armstrong Cox to a pensions regime which is disadvantageous to her compared to what she would have been entitled to at the day she had joined the service. But quite honestly, the state had real difficulty responding to that. And at the end of the day, the court had no difficulty accepting our argument and striking down the pension disqualification law and restoring Hermelin Armstrong Cox's rights as they were at the day that she joined the service.
Mr. Francis, in speaking with CC6 Newsnight on the issue, explains why Mrs. Armstrong Cox presented her documents to the Ministry of Finance.
And today we are here to present her application for pension benefits from the government. So this will be the first person who will be receiving, God will be testing the judgment as relates to receiving pension for those persons who have joined the service after April 4, 1983.
He says while he can't speak on the total amount that government will have to pay out, he can disclose what will be due to Mrs. Armstrong Cox.
I can't speak for government. What I can do, I can speak for our worker here. And the fact that she'll be receiving the pension benefit that is due her, based on the computation, there's a computation that they use to based on years of service, last salary and such, and went to, she'll be receiving that, her gratuity and her pension she'll be receiving.
The former public servant says she is very pleased with the judgment as she worked in the Ministry of Finance for some 26 years.
It means a lot to me because persons tend to think that once you retire, your bills are cut off. But it's not like that. And what NIS is giving can't. I still have my mortgage to pay. My health insurance has gone up. I have to visit the doctor more often, so need the money to do those things. I'm presenting my letter of appointment, my last pay slip, and my birth certificate. How soon? As soon as possible. Because the longer they keep it, it could be good for me, but it's bad for them because the judge also said 6% interest. So they should be paying. It would be better if they start paying now.
Mrs. Armstrong Cox says she has been retired some 5 years now, but the fight to get her pension began approximately 3 years ago. Other disenfranchised retired public officers will have to make submissions to the ministry where they work to collect the outstanding pension payments. Sherry Ann Noel, CC6 Newsnight.
Sexual crimes account for almost 50% of the matters down for hearing in the October assizes, which began on Tuesday. A senior official within the DPP's office says this increase in these crimes is a cause for concern, as the number has risen from the last assizes in May.
114 cases are down for hearing in the October assizes, and a high number are once again for the offences of rape and indecent assault. 44 of the 114 cases are for sexual offences, and according to Senior Crown Counsel in the Department of Public Prosecution, Howard Pinnock, this is an increase from the May assizes.
Justice Price Finley this morning did express concern on behalf of the court, of the, in her own words, the disturbing trend, as she puts it. And that she said that it concerns the court. It concerns us as prosecutors as well, because by far this is the largest volume of any offences, of which 44 sexual offences, of which 26 are rape, and 5 are cases of incest. The rest would be sexual offences against young girls.
The Senior Crown Counsel speaks of the other cases to be tried during the period of the assizes, which is about 3 months.
We have 21 homicides, and by that I mean murder, manslaughter, causing death by reckless or dangerous driving. Those are 21 cases, 17 of which are murder, 1 case of manslaughter, 3 cases of causing death by dangerous driving. We also have 18 cases of what I'd call non-fatal offences against a person. Non-fatal meaning the victims didn't die. So cases like dangerous harm, grievous harm, maiming, 18 cases in all. We also have 16 cases of offences against property, by which I mean fraud, stealing, robbery, housebreaking, etc.
Mr. Pinnock says in collaboration with the defense attorneys, they will do their best to address many of the challenges.
Without the cooperation of the lawyers, it would not be possible, as you realize, to try all 114 cases. We have to engage the lawyers, and in cases where in the interest of justice we can take a pleas to lesser offences, for example, because Grenada has no quote-unquote plea bargain legislation, but we do engage with the defense, in cases where, for example, in the case of dangerous harm, we may, if the circumstances allow, take a plea to a lesser offense of, say, grievous harm. Cases of murder, we may take a plea to a lesser offense of manslaughter. So we do engage, we have to engage actively with the defense. And in the interest of justice, where it allows it, we can take a plea. Because without pleas, the list is not going to go down.
One of the matters expected to be dealt with this week is the sentencing of Alistair Stanislaus on Thursday. His matter was traversed from the May assizes. Stanislaus in June pleaded guilty to 16 offences in High Court No. 1 before Madam Justice Margaret Price Finley. The 16 offences include 7 robberies, stealing, possession of a firearm, possession of ammunition, and escaping lawful custody. He, however, pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of bank fraud. Janelle Ruben, CC6 Newsnight.
Coming up in sports, WICB introduces a professional league.
The Leap is about giving you the ability to explore your potential so you can keep up with the fast-paced world we live in. Leap into the future with Flo's broadband packages. Turbo 10, $75. Turbo 20. Turbo 30. And introducing Turbo 100. Leap. Let's evolve as people.
Get in the game and follow local Premier League action live on CC6 every Sunday from 4 p.m. See our local players from 10 Premier League teams battle for the coveted GFA Premier League Championship title 2014. Can Hard Rock hold on to a title for a 4th consecutive yet? Only time will tell. It's live Premier League action right here on CC6 every Sunday from 4 p.m. CC6, your home for local programming.
Join us on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. for your weekly health program, Health Watch, where we speak with doctors, nutritionists, and other health professionals on various health issues. Health Watch, Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Sundays at 7 p.m.
With football. The 6th annual Wagati Super Knockout Football Tournament was launched in St. George on Tuesday. The tournament this year will feature 27 teams, hoping to dethrone defending champion Hard Rock Sports Club.
Director of the tournament, Wayne Wagity Redhead, says the team this year will be competing for big bucks.
This year, the prize money is a little less than last year. And this is due to we don't have this big national stadium. We have a Victoria Park. So the teams winning this year will get $25,000, a check for $25,000. The second place will get $10,000. The third place will get $3,000. And in addition to that, teams winning in the first round, not the first round, the second round will get $500. If you win a match in the quarterfinals, you get $1,000. And in the semifinals, you get $1,500. So a team could go home with almost $30,000 this year. Also, we have some other prizes for the MVP. This year, we'll get $1,500. The most disciplined team, $500. The person scoring the most goal will get $500. The most outstanding young player, $500. The most outstanding goalkeeper, $500. And also now we're going to add the most outstanding coach of the tournament, going to get $500 also.
The tournament is endorsed by the Grenada Football Association, and President Chenny Joseph says he is proud to give support to the tournament.
I genuinely want to first of all say thanks to Wagity for being successful at a small idea and taking it to the level it is. Not often an idea means a lot to anything. It is how it is executed, and it is the success behind it that makes the difference.
The main sponsors were on hand to cement their support. Flow was represented by Grenada Country Manager Gail Purcell, carried by Brand Manager Jelani Glean, and Digicel by its Marketing Manager Kirk Ceterhall.
At Flow, we're pleased to be here once more to support this competition. Through CC6, we have been the broadcasters of the opening matches, semifinals, and final matches. And we continue to support it. Through last year, we introduced a half-hour sports series program, which added quite a good highlight to the program, to the overall football competition, because it allowed people to follow the competition, tune in for weekly updates and dialogue and interaction about the goings-on in the tournament. And we look forward to continuing that this year once more.
This year, we have decided to come on stronger in our participation with him. And you would see that going forward, we would have bar activations offering bar specials across the island, named the Super Knockout Weekend Specials. You would be able to get giveaways and so on at our bars, bar specials, all under the name of the Super Knockout. It's our gift back to our communities that support Wagity and the initiatives that he has taken.
Wagity, I'd like to pledge Digicel's continued support of the Wagity Knockout competition. It is one of the most fruitful relationships we have, and we want to commend you for standing headstrong and wish you all the success.
The 7-week-long contest kicks off October 18th at Victoria Park in Grenville, St. Andrew, and will include the usual entertainment aspect until its conclusion on December 6th. The opening will feature popular Vincentian soca artist Skinny Fabulous. Meanwhile, the 27 teams competing in this year's 6th annual Wagity Super Knockout football tournament say they are ready for the challenge. The teams were speaking with Sports on 6 at the launch of the tournament in St. George on Tuesday.
What we are anticipating and what we will do is that we intend to whitewash every team we meet, and we intend to win the Wagity this year on every note. We will make a statement on this year. See, one of the key is that is teamwork, and where the technical department works together, and also we have serious club structures, and we have a functioning executive, and we have some very good talented players who work together as a team, and when you combine all these things together, you must get top-class results.
We are excited to be part of the Wagity tournament once again, but right now our main focus is on the rest of the games of the Premier Division, and hopefully we can get favorable results, get a winning streak in the next 3 games. We have won our last game, so if we can get a winning streak and get a winning mentality again going into the Wagity tournament, that will boost well for us.
We just go there and just play a natural game, no big set of fancy thing. We just simple football, basics football. The team is a very young team. Yeah, they have a lot of passion for the game. We just as one. We as one, as one family, and we just love the game, and we're just going to just play football and have football. And that's how we're going to play.
This year's tournament features 3 new teams: Estudiantes, Premium Players, and Mount Horn Sports Club. The tournament will kick off with 2 matches at Victoria Park, St. Andrew, with Premium Players and Eagle Super Strikers meeting in Game 1. Spice Mobile Flow Sunsetters takes on Guav FC in Game 2.
And finally, in cricket, President of the Grenada Cricket Association, Dwayne Gill, says he is satisfied with the new initiative being undertaken by the West Indies Cricket Board to introduce a professional cricket league. Players were drafted for the PCL last Monday in Barbados.
Speaking with Sports on 6 on Tuesday, Mr. Gill says this new undertaking will help with the development of regional players.
A lot of the teams are going to have professional players for the first time. And in fact, at the draft, you would have recognized that 5 players were chosen by all of the teams, in addition to 10 players that would have been previously stated that were going to be given contracts. From a Windward's point of view, it means that 15 players will be playing on a professional basis. Our franchise will be based in Dominica, and the name of our franchise will be the Windward's Volcanoes. So it means that players like Fletcher, Pascal, and Smith would be contracted. They will be paid on a monthly basis, in addition to what they'll be given on a per match basis for the YCB tournaments.
West Indies players Devon Smith, Nilon Pascal, and Andrew Fletcher were among the players selected by the Windward Islands franchise, and Mr. Gill says there are opportunities for many more.
It's very good because you're going to have as many as 100 players actually playing cricket on a professional basis, where they will dedicate their efforts towards cricket and nothing else. In the past, you've seen situations where a lot of the national players have had to come from jobs in the day to get in a little half hour or practice in the afternoons. This will no longer be the case, and it is expected that in terms of quality, the West Indies will develop more quality players, having come through a system where they'll have training for consistent periods of time. A lot of young players would be involved in that setup, and of course they perhaps would have left school and probably no jobs to go into, and they will now find that opportunity in terms of having a stable job and having to play cricket. It's not the end of the road for those who have not been signed. They're going to be given 1-year contracts, so a young player coming through can still do well in his domestic cricket, can still do well for Grenada, for the Windwards, and force his way onto that contract list for next year and for the years.
All 6 franchises will be given US $45,000 per month to fund their operations, but will be required to raise revenue as well. Players will be categorized in 3 levels, A, B, and C, with the first level carrying a price tag of US $2,500, the second US $1,700, and third US $1,250.
That's all we have for you in Sports on 6. A recap of the headlines is next. Recapping the headlines. It was a week in which nutmeg farmers were told of the price cuts for their products. The Ministry of Health outlined new measures as the country gets ready, just in case the Ebola virus reaches its shores. And public workers from 1983 who were denied pensions are now entitled to be paid. In sports, Wagati launches 6th football tournament with 27 teams ready to do battle. That brings us to the end of CC6 Newsnight Week in Review for October 6th to the 9th, 2014. Top stories from CC6 Newsnight can also be seen on our Facebook page, Flow Community Channel 6. On behalf of the news team, I am Hannah Marshall, thanking you for joining us.